In this film, Barbie suffers a crisis that leads her to question her world and her existence. Barbie lives in Barbie Land, and in Barbie Land, all of the ladies are Barbies, and all of the men are Kens. Margot Robbie plays stereotypical Barbie, which is what she's called. And she's the standard, like original Barbie. Everything seems perfect. Until one day, she starts thinking about things like death. She questions that she is flat at a point cellulite. So, of course, she freaks out and decides to go visit the weird Barbie, played by Kate McKinnon, who lives in a Baba Yoga type hut on the edge of. Barbie laughs, and weird Barbie explains to her, I think what's happening is, in the real world, whatever girl is playing with you, maybe she's experiencing these feelings, and they're being transposed onto you. So the only way to solve this is you need to go to the real world and figure out what's wrong with her. And Barbie's resistant, but ultimately agrees to go. The story revolves around the titular doll as she departs from Barbie Land and steps into the real world. This Barbie movie, produced with a blend of humor, fantasy, and real-world themes, follows Barbie and Ken on separate journeys that profoundly transform them. To reclaim the turbulent Barbie Gloria, who joins forces with her daughter Sasha, the brainwashed Barbies unite in the climactic scene. This occurs after the Kens turn against each other, prompting the Barbies to choose not to amend the Constitution. This decision leads to the downfall of the kingdom and the restoration of Barbie Land, albeit with some modifications, such as reassigning certain Kens to lesser roles in the court. Barbie offers guidance to Ken, portrayed by Ryan Gosling, who is grappling with an existential crisis. She advises him to discover his identity independently of her, uncertain about her own future. Barbie seeks to become human, realizing that she can no longer the stereotypical Barbie image with the counsel of her creator, Ruth Handler. Barbie makes the bold choice to embrace humanity, even if it means facing mortality. As the movie draws to a close, Barbie takes a momentous step by deciding to permanently transform into a human. She leaves behind Barbie Land, where everything is idyllic, to embark on this new journey. Throughout the stereotype that is defined, Barbie is acutely acknowledged. Vision loomed large, opting for a human existence, entailed an inescapable reality, the eventual passing away. Yet Barbie's resolve remained unshaken. Her willingness to embrace this stemmed from a desire for a life of death, rather than a mere abstract stretched across eternity. The firmness in Barbie's self-assured wavered amidst her sojourn in the real world. Here she grappled with a torrent of emotions, confronted existential quandaries, and reminisced about both exalting and harrowing moments. These experiences left her craving more knowledge, a thirst for life that stretched beyond the boundaries of Barbie Land. The tapestry of the real world unfurled before Barbie, a panorama that both astounded and humbled her. Though far from a utopia, Barbie recognized the potential to contribute her own efforts toward its enhancement, just as she had done with her native Barbie Land. Yearning for a profound understanding of imperfection, she embarked on a journey to grapple with the complexities of existence. She aimed to engage with the dichotomy of virtues and vices inherent in being propelled human, by the belief that her impact could be magnified beyond the confines of her familiar realm. Ken, once a formidable antagonist, underwent a transformation that defied his past. In his odyssey, he encountered the tenets of patriarchy in the external world, adopting and subsequently importing them back to Barbie Land. Yet his aspiration to shape Ken down were dashed by the weight of failure, serving as a catalyst for introspection. In the wake of this realization, Ken's evolution led him to a profound understanding that it was acceptable to grapple with feelings of confusion. This marked the moment when Ken, in a climactic rejection of the very patriarchy he had once embraced, to redefine his path. Just like Barbie, Ken found himself caught up in a whirlwind of emotions. Imagine him feeling all upset and puzzled. Just like you can't figure out a tricky video game level. He was facing something called an existential crisis. Which sounds super fancy, but it basically means he was feeling all mixed up about who he really was. Now Ken didn't have a guidebook to help him through this tricky situation. But guess what? Someone shared a secret with him that turned things around. They told Ken that he could be himself, plain and simple, without being tied down to any expectations. It's like being told he could wear his comfy sneakers instead of those too tight shoes that pinch his toes. And here's where the story gets exciting. Ken realized that all those ideas about he had being in charge and having all the answers were the patriarchal beliefs. A mouthful, I know, weren't helping him at all. So he decided to toss them out like old, crumpled papers. Now fast forward to the future of Barbie Land. After a whole lot of adventure and a good dose of soul searching, things got back on track for the dolls. Remember when your friend finally learns to play your favorite game? Well, that's how things started. Feeling more normal for Barbie, Ken, and the gang. But hey, they weren't the same as before. All those UPS and downs they went through. When you try new things, sometimes they're amazing, and sometimes they're not so fun. Change them. Ken especially had a real turning point. He's likely to do some serious about thinking who he really is, and that could make him more confident without all the negativity. And guess what? Other Kens took note too. They realized that having a blast at the beach with the Barbies was way better than fighting with them. Barbie herself learned a big lesson accepting others. She even invited the quirky Barbie to join in on the fun instead of leaving her out. Barbie is like ageless rock star never out of style. Imagine generations of girls like you being totally inspired by her. And the magic is she's not stuck in the past. She gets a makeover, a new outfit, or even a fresh perspective to stay awesome and relatable. Whether it's a supermodel or a fan, everyone adds a little magic to Barbie, making her a true icon. So keep dreaming, imagining, and adding your own flair to her story. How Barbie is seen as immortal, symbolizing perfection and as an iconic figure. There's a play with the idea putting of Barbie in a box, which represents attempts to control her potential. This box is also connected to Marcel's concept of memory. It's like a trigger for Barbie's recollection, connecting her to the past. Additionally, the passages mention instances where Barbie's changes and transformations were linked to boxes overall. Barbie's story one of continuous fame, battles against confinement, and a touch of nostalgia. Barbie cartoon Barbie Life in the Dream House, a character named Alan shows up. Meanwhile, there was a doll growing up Skipper that faced criticism. When you turned Barbie's left arm, the doll would grow taller and get breasts just like people grow up. But because people didn't like this growing up, Skipper was taken out of the Barbie collection in 1977 now. Let's dive into the deep stuff. Barbie's last scene is about more than just playing around. It's about tackling issues related to how boys and girls are treated differently. At its heart, it's about being ready to explore who you beyond what society expects and standing up for change, even if it feels scary. It's no surprise that both Barbie and Ken are going figuring who they are, just like we sometimes feel when things change around us. Even though the Kens had power, one of them named Ken had a problem. He was all confused about who he was, started acting really upset. This actually proved that old ideas about guys not showing emotions or thinking about who they are not right. Instead of looking at himself and thinking his about own actions, Ken was trying to boss around and make them unhappy. Barbie too went through a tough time where she lost herself. This tells us that it's okay not to have everything figured out. Feel lost sometimes. Thanks for tuning in. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss our latest video.